Hi, thanks for joining us. I'm Sarah Seidem, Managing Editor of Groups Today.
And I'm Lauren Eisenlohr, Marketing Director for Groups Today.
Your brand, its identity, mission, style, culture, voice, all of those things are intrinsically integrated into your business. And therefore, your business goes through a major change. If that happens, which we'll get to what that could be in a moment, it might be time to reconsider your brand overall. You never know when that time may come. Before we get into what might necessitate a rebrand, let's explore what rebranding is.
Absolutely, I could talk about this all day. Rebrands can include a new name, a new mission and or vision statement, new branding such as the obvious, your colors, fonts, photography, graphics, logos, a new website or website redesign, a new voice or type of language used within your copy, and a revamped company culture. Now, a rebrand could include all of those things or maybe just a few of those things, depending on what you're trying to tweak.
Now that you know some of that basic information, let's get into some signs that it might be time. The first one being that you've gone through a merger or an acquisition. This is a clear indicator that it's a time for a rebrand. Two entities, though they might operate similarly or have the same audience, there's a good chance that existing branding, however, might not meld together quite well. Nor should you try to make it fit if it doesn't. This is a really great opportunity to refresh things and sort of give everything a little bit of a facelift.
Yeah, and number two, you might get to a point where it's hard to differentiate yourself from your competitors or from similar brands. Maybe you're not competing with them, but perhaps there's some confusion between who you are versus who they are. And you still want to make sure that you stand out in some way. So that might require a rebrand. If your brand's identity is starting to look too similar, like I said, to others, or if it's just uninspired or dated, it's looking too old, people aren't gravitating towards it anymore, it just needs to be revived a little bit, then it's probably time to switch things up.
And if your initial branding, perhaps when you first started your business, was put together on a budget, it might be time to consider a rebrand as well. It's natural to feel attached to that branding and that logo and all that goes along with it because that's your baby. But taking a step back and seeing, how can I improve? How can we make this better? Will really benefit you in the long run.
Also, you might be struggling to attract the right audience, and obviously that is super important for any business, that you are attracting an audience and that you're targeting the right audience. So at that point, you need to take a step back and ask yourself who your audience is. So go back, do a little research, review your website, go through the customer journey on your website. Take yourself out of your business as if you were a consumer yourself and take a look and see, are things easy to navigate? Is it understandable what you're trying to say? Do you get what's going on social media and everything else? Is it attracting you? Do you care? So go back, reevaluate who your audience is and then how you can best target them. And to best target them, you might have to rebrand.
And lastly, a sign that it might be time for a rebrand is if you find yourself being embarrassed by any aspect of your brand. It could be your website, it could be your business cards, whatever it may be. If you find you're feeling that feeling, it might be time. Go through and figure out what it is about your brand that embarrasses you. And now compare it to other brands that you admire and figure out what the difference there is. That's a clear indicator it's time to do a rebrand and a really good starting point for getting things off the ground and really evolving from where you're at. So take some of these tips and strategies, do some inward reflection, see where you stand, and subscribe to Groups Today for more tips like this on our website at groupstoday.com. See you next time.